Prime Minister David Cameron visited a surgery in Bedford today where doctors are already putting into practice the kind of measures he wants to see adopted across the whole of the NHS.
Under their new plans, GP practices will be handed the power to commission NHS services. But the reforms have already come in for criticism. Medical charities doubting whether GPs have enough experience to take on the work of primary care trusts and strategic health authorities. Emma Baker reports.
You might not think a trip to the doctors is the ideal start to your day. But this morning, the Prime Minister was keen to put local healthcare at the top of his agenda. His visit to Pemberley Surgery in Bedford comes just days after the unveiling of new government plans to scrap local health authorities, all designed to give power back to the GPs. How much stress will this new system put on GPs, and how many appointments, for example, will they lose doing their admin?
Well, I think the most important thing is to recognise we're putting the general practitioner, the GP, in charge of the health service. I think all of us, we know who our GP is and we trust them to do the right thing for us in the NHS. We don't know all the bureaucrats and the primary care trusts and the rest of it. So let's actually put the trust and the money and the power with the GPs. They should be the gatekeepers for the NHS.
This surgery has already made a step in that direction. It's one of 26 Bedford surgeries that work together in a consortium to gain greater control over how their money is spent. The head of that group is one GP who welcomes the government's new proposals.
Hopefully, it will enable us to sort of bite the bullet and really deliver healthcare that is better for patients, more cost effective and safe as well.
Well, those at today's visit backed the health reforms, that doesn't reflect the views of everyone in the region. Speaking on last night's Anglia Late Edition, Luton MP Gavin Shooker criticised the government's proposals.
What this is, though, is the 9th reorganisation in as many years of the NHS. I think it's a really backward step at a point when the NHS is really starting to motor.
During his trip, Mr Cameron had a chance to speak to staff and patients. For the ladies on reception, the unexpected visit made for an interesting day at work.
We were very surprised. We knew that we had an important visitor today, but it wasn't until about 11 o'clock we knew who it was going to be, so it's very, very exciting.
Well, I actually came into work not knowing any of it, and just came into the whole, all the security about and everything, and walked through the door and saw David Cameron sat in there and thought, oh, it was a bit nerve-wracking actually walking into that.
The Prime Minister's visit today is all about talking to people at the grassroots ahead of what could be one of the biggest shake-ups the NHS has ever seen. After Bedford, the next stop was Luton, where he met with EasyJet employees at a Q&A session. Apart from the recent problems of ash clouds and the economy, he also tackled the question of who might win the Labour leadership.
Who will win? I don't know. I guess probably one of the Miller bands looks like they're the front runners, but I could probably put the mark of Cain on anyone by saying I wanted them to win. So why not Ed Balls? There we are.
Whoever wins that contest will no doubt have plenty to say in the coming months about the coalition's revolutionary plans to change our healthcare for the future. Emma Baker, Anglia News, Bedford.
Not what you expect to see on the visit to the surgery, is
it's
it?
Not
Pick up your prescription. Oh, hi, David.
You can see the full interview with David Cameron on our website, which is, of course, itv.com/Anglia.
You'll also find other items from the programme there, plus a full weather forecast for the Anglia region as well. So.
Yes. It's 11 minutes past. A man has appeared before Ipswich magistrates, charged with perverting the course of justice after the death of a woman in Gran Canaria. 23-year-old Sarah Shields was holidaying on the island but failed to return home. 36-year-old Christopher Chittock, believed to be her boyfriend, appeared before Ipswich magistrates. He was remanded in custody.
Tesco has submitted a new planning application for a multi-million-pound development in King's Lynn, just a month after its initial plans were rejected. The firm says its new application for the former Campbell's factory site will bring 1,000 jobs to the town.
A van driver has had a lucky escape after a tree branch crashed through his windscreen, missing his seat by 2 inches. It happened while he was driving through Newmarkit yesterday. The quarter-ton branch was brought down by 60-mile-per-hour winds. The road was closed for 2 hours while contractors removed the tree and a fallen street lamp. The driver was taken to hospital in Bury St Edmunds with minor head injuries.
Now, there's disappointment in Norwich today after the city's bid to become the UK Capital of Culture for 2013 fell at the final hurdle.
Norwich was one of 4 cities to make it through to the last round, but a ceremony in Liverpool last night announced that the Northern Ireland city of Londonderry had won. Tom Barton reports.
The party began with hope and expectation in Norwich and in Liverpool, where the announcement was being made. But when it came, the result wasn't what anyone involved in Norwich's bid had been hoping for.
The winner of the competition to be the first UK Capital of Culture is Derry Londonderry.
Norwich had put together a strong bid and were the bookies' favourites. But the result, going to Londonderry in Northern Ireland, left those running the bid disappointed but hopeful for the future.
I'm not sad, I'm just disappointed. I think actually that was about politics and not about the bid.
Naturally a bit disappointed because a lot of really hard work went into the bid. Delighted for Derry, congratulations to them.
The partnerships that have been developed and the process of putting this bid together, I think means that Norwich is still going to be able to deliver a significant amount of cultural activities.
Norwich City Council say they hope many of the ideas included in the bid will go ahead anyway. A victory for the people of Norwich at least, if not the city itself. Tom Barton, Anglia News, Norwich.
Bad luck, Norwich.
Always another year, I suppose, isn't
That's
there?
true. Now, stars of the Tour de France like Bradley Wiggins and Mark Cavendish could soon be cycling through your hometown.
Yes, 2 stages of the Tour of Britain will pass through Norfolk, Suffolk and Essex in September. One of them will start in Bury St Edmunds, where they launched the race today.
They're some of the world's fittest athletes competing in some of the world's most gruelling races. And soon these superstars of the saddle will be swapping the Alps for East Anglia. On the 16th of September, the riders will race from King's Lynn to Great Yarmouth, passing Norwich en route. Then they'll move to Suffolk, where the 7th leg of the Tour of Britain was launched today. On the 17th of September, 100 of the world's best riders, including several Olympic champions, will line up just here on Angel Hill in Bury St Edmunds. Then the cyclists will follow this 95-mile route, passing through Long Melford, Lavenham, Sudbury, Halstead, Braintree, Witham and Malden, before finishing in Colchester. Emily Fisher from Cycle Suffolk took out a camera for a trial run.
Although they say Suffolk's flat, it was fairly undulating, so there's a few nice hills here and there. And through the historic towns like Long Melford, where the sprint point is, that's really cool, and that'll be a really good place to watch.
The race is the country's biggest free-to-attend sporting event, with 1 million people expected to turn out and watch.
The images are going to be flashed around the world. It's an international event, so it will be on Sky, ITV and all those other sort of global channels. It'll be fantastic.
Great publicity for Norfolk, Suffolk and Essex, as well as great support for British cyclists like Dan Fleeman.
Well, this will be my 4th year, and every year it just gets bigger and bigger, and the profile's just raising up all the time.
Come September, keep your eyes peeled for the likes of Lance Armstrong, Bradley Wiggins and Mark Cavendish. But blink and you'll miss them. Martin Stew, Anglia News, Bury St Edmunds.
It's true,